How y'all doing today? Again, it's your homeless friend Kai, and I think I need to make a video about explaining my disease, friedreics ataxia, because a lot of you don't seem to understand it. I think maybe I should start by giving you a little context about how I deal with it. When I was 9 years old, my first TV, we weren't allowed to have television because we couldn't afford it, but the parents said that it was an anti-television thing. So I found my first black and white television in a dumpster. It worked and didn't work at the same time. We had to hang a set of calipers off the channel changer to keep it balanced so that it would stay on the channel. And we got PBS. That was the only channel that we got, but we got PBS, and it was very educational, and I was just extremely happy to have a television. I didn't care that it barely worked. I didn't care that we had to hang calipers off of it. I was glad to have a television. I was thrilled. My first VCR, we got when I was 14 years old. Again, I found it in a dumpster. Top-loading Panasonic VCR, one of the first, like 1978. Tape comes out the top. When I got it, it ate tapes. Every tape we put it in, it ate tapes. But I figured out, after I took it apart and polished all the little gears and everything, I figured out if we put a small coffee can on top of it filled with rocks to keep the lid pressed down just right, we could watch movies without it eating tapes. And yes, it sucked as a VCR. Not gonna lie to you. It still occasionally ate tapes if we didn't put the coffee can on just right, and but again, I was just thrilled to have a VCR. Fast forward ahead 2 years later, I got my first Nintendo, or actually we got our first Nintendo, Family 5. My brother and my sister and I fought over it constantly. After the first week of playing with it, if any of you have owned a classic Nintendo, you know, eventually it starts to malfunction and you have to push the cartridge in, line it up just right, and blow in it and push it up and down and hit the reset button over and over again to get it to work just right. And eventually you could get it going and you could play a game. And I didn't care that it took so long to make it work. I was just thrilled to play the game. Friedreich's ataxia is my disease. It's a degenerative neural condition which causes me to have a speech impediment, slur my speech, causes me to have an inability to swallow. The signals from my brain don't get to my body quite right. Picture a broken video game controller. Works some of the time. Some of the times, like, your moves are a half second slow, and some of the times it doesn't work at all. That's basically the way my body works. Sometimes the controller works. Sometimes it's a half second behind, and if you've ever played like Street Fighter, you know that when you're going for the combo Roo kick, and you're a half second late, it sucks. It leads to game over. And with me, it leads to a lot of falls. I have a broken thumb now because apparently I have learned to fall correctly, but my body doesn't quite get there all the time. So sometimes when I feel myself falling, I can catch myself, and sometimes controller breaks and I'm a half second behind, or it doesn't work at all, and my arms or legs don't move to catch myself at all. So there's that. My difficulty swallowing makes it hard to eat or drink anything. It makes it almost impossible to sleep more than an hour at a time, because while I'm sleeping, my mouth fills up with saliva, and that natural swallowing action that you have when you sleep doesn't happen with me. So I wake up when I have a mouthful of saliva that has blocked my sinus passages, so I can no longer breathe through my nose. So I have to open my mouth, thereby pulling that mouthful of saliva into my lungs and drowning, basically. I wake up every night, 3 or 4 times, drowning in my own saliva. This is most likely the way I'm going to die, but I have been lucky so far, because that sense of panic that kicks in instantaneously when you realize you're drowning wakes me up instantaneously and throws me out of bed on my hands and knees, coughing and struggling to survive. It's terrifying, it's painful, it's awful. But again, I've always played with a broken controller. Just thrilled to play the game. Daily life. You know how when you're walking along and you suddenly hit a slick spot, your foot slides just a bit. You don't fall, but that split second thinking that you might fall because your heart raced makes you feel like you almost died, terrifying feeling that happens. I feel like that pretty much all the time. I always feel like I have almost fallen or am just about to fall. It causes my blood pressure to be elevated, my heart to be continuously racing whenever I'm walking or standing up, and that is probably what results in a heart condition that, again, is the next most likely way I'm gonna die from a heart condition. Being overloaded on adrenaline that is continuously produced because I'm continuously terrified that I am going to fall. But again, I've always played with a broken controller, and I'm still just happy to be playing the game. Savannah, stop it! Sorry, the dog is jealous of the pig, and don't beat up on the pig. He's a good guy. I know. Anyway, as for working, my mind is still absolutely brilliant. I desperately want to work. I have almost always found a way to work around the broken controller and come up with a solution. I've owned my own businesses. I left home at 15 years old because my mom and my stepfather kept fighting pretty much over me. Anyway, my mom left, and I couldn't stay with my stepfather, but my mom had 3 kids, and raising 3 kids as a single parent, not too good. So I went to live on the streets, but I went with permission. My mom said it's okay to go if you're sure that you can take care of yourself, but she did. She took me down to the library, made me learn how to make balloon animals from a book she found at the library and a bag of balloons. Made me learn how to make balloon animals so that I would have a way to survive no matter what. And from there, I have created my own businesses. Everything from the living statue mime act, where I stood perfectly still, dressed in silver makeup from head to toe and spray painted silver outfit, to I started a mobile auto detailing business out of the trunk of my car. It was Kai's Mobile Auto Detailing here on Maui, and I did extremely well. I started Mermaid's Maid Service with $150. I went down to Salvation Army one day, and they had 6 vacuums. and a bunch of those Ace Hardware baskets, plastic baskets. So I picked those up and got some cleaning chemicals and folded some newspapers, put some paper towels in, and then I hired some girls to do housekeeping, and I just started a maid service. When I got sick, spent 9 days in the hospital. Auto detailing and maid service are word of mouth businesses, excuse me. And 9 days of no call, no shows. There's no recovering from that. And I spent every penny I had sinking it back into the business, trying to keep a business afloat that was never going to succeed again. Ended up homeless because of it. But again, just happy to be playing the game. I've always played with a broken controller. Even look at the way I live. Even though I'm homeless, I have solar power. I have running water. I have to haul my water in, but I have 12-volt pumps that pump it for me and everything. So I have a sink, a shower. Still working on the refrigerator. I haven't quite got that worked out yet, but I have LED lighting. And I'm just thrilled to be playing the game. Yeah, honestly, life sucks for everybody. Everybody has problems. And I guarantee you, even with my problems and everybody else's problems, if we all put our problems on the table, at the end of the day, we would all take our own problems and leave. I wouldn't trade my problems for anybody else's problems because I know how to deal with my problems. Like I said, I've always been playing with the broken controller. I know how to deal with my problems, and I'm still thrilled to be playing the game. And for those of you out there whose life sucks right now, yeah, you're playing with a broken controller. It's not easy. Just be happy to play the game. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I love you guys tons. Check the description for links on how you can donate or links to other videos that may help you out. If you're in a similar situation that I'm in and there's any advice you need or help you need to get going and get yourself into a better situation than you're in, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I will be happy to provide you with help and instruction, whatever you need. I can show you how to play with a broken controller and play well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't.